Dear friends, today we are going to discuss the Abhidhamma lesson after little gap. But however, you can remember that I explained the analysis of matter in Abhidhamma under two headings, primary material elements and secondary material elements. Then after that, because we started to discuss first the Rupa, then come to the mind or Citta. Then today I start to explain the Citta Paramatta or the reality of consciousness. Then according to Abhidhamma, we have to keep in mind, as I explained earlier, with Abhidhammic explanations of these realities are based on two main concepts, that means space and time. Then that because I explained it earlier, without these two concepts, human beings cannot identify anything properly. Therefore, we should locate something on a space and we have to discuss its activity in accordance with the time. Then in Abhidhamma, the consciousness or Citta, the term is used, the Citta, to refer to the consciousness. Because there are three terms used in Buddhism, in Buddhist discourses, refer to mind. That means Citta, Mana and Vijnana. Then Citta, the Mana refers to one of the six senses, Chakku, Sota, Ghana, Jivha, Kaya, Mana, eye, nose, tongue, skin and mind. And the Mana, Vijnana mostly in many contexts refer to the resultant consciousness. As a result of contact between eye and form, there arises eye consciousness, etc. Therefore, Abhidhamma has taken the term, selected the term Citta. Citta means variegated. Because mind, the nature of mind is very, very complex. Therefore, I think the best term to refer to consciousness is Citta. However, this Citta in Abhidhamma has been analyzed under four headings. That means Kamavachara, Rupavachara, Arupavachara and Lokuttara, consciousness belonging to the sensual sphere, belonging to the form sphere, belonging to the formless sphere and belonging to the supramundane sphere. Then this sphere, actually, it does not necessarily refer to a particular place, but however, it refers to the space. That means, for example, if we take Kamavachara, means sensual sphere, means normally 6 heavens, 4 hells and the human world. Then these 11 worlds are called Kamavachara or sensual sphere, sensual plane. And Rupavachara refers to the material sphere, some Brahmalokas, and Arupavachara also refer to Brahmalokas. They represent the Brahmaloka, where the people who die with the trances will be reborn in those worlds. But for example, Lokuttara means transcending consciousness or supramundane consciousness. There is no such a sphere called supramundane, but however, it should be conceived as a space. That is why the consciousness types have been classified into 4 bhumis, 4 spheres. Then here as a whole, before we go into details of these analyses, we have to understand the common structure of this analysis. For example, the Kamavachara consciousness or consciousness related to the sensual sphere has been analyzed into 54 types. Then Rupavachara or material sphere consciousness has been analyzed into 15 types. And formless sphere consciousness into 12 types. And supramundane consciousness into 8 or 40 types. Then these all together with the 8 consciousnesses of the supramundane sphere, all are total list 89, and with the 40 supramundane consciousness, total is 121. Then in a way we can consider this division, especially these 4 divisions, in connection with the Buddhist path. The Buddhist path to Nibbana is presented under 3 stages: Sila, Samadhi and Panna, morality, concentration and wisdom. Then morality means Kaya Vachanang Samodhanang Silang, restrainment of the physical and verbal behavior. That means external behavior, the restrainment of the external behavior of the person. Then Rupavachara and Arupavachara means trances and absorptions. The trances as well as absorptions of Samapatti we practice for the purpose of concentrating the mind. Therefore, in these 2 spheres, the person concentrates one's own mind. Therefore, these 2 types can be connected with the second stage of the training, Samadhi or concentration. Then the final one, that means supramundane consciousness, is the realization, it paves the way for realization of Nibbana. It means wisdom. Therefore, I think in a way we can classify these 4 spheres consciousness into 3 stages of the training. That means morality, concentration and wisdom. Further, this concentration is the stage of the training, but its practical component is called samatha meditation, concentration meditation. Then Panna as the third aspect, its practical method is called vipassana or insight meditation. Therefore, we have to keep in mind this is not psychology, because in psychology there is no any effort leading to final realization or final emancipation. But here in this Abhidhamma, person is led towards the realization of Nibbana from Sila, Samadhi and Panna. Therefore, the consciousness which is explained in Abhidhamma is not mere psychological analysis. It analyzes the consciousness through the path to Nibbana. Therefore, that is why Rhys Davids translated the first book of Abhidhamma Pitaka Dhamma Sangani as Buddhist psychological ethics. Actually, in Abhidhamma we find psychological ethics, not only merely psychology. That should be kept in mind, because we are studying the consciousness in the process of going to the final realization, Nibbana, through the path represented by morality, concentration and wisdom. Further, we know that these 3 stages are connected with the Noble Eightfold Path. Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa represents the insight section, and Samma Vacha, Kammanta, Ajiva represents the morality, and Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi represents the concentration. However, these 3 stages are very important, because this path represented by these 3 stages are common to all, whether monks, nuns or lay people, ladies and gentlemen. For all, there is only one path. That path means 3 stages: morality, concentration and wisdom. Then I explain this in this way, because if we take for the first group, that means sensual sphere consciousness, it has 3 divisions. That means wholesome, resultant and unwholesome, resultant and wholesome. That means the unwholesome consciousness 12 types, and resultant consciousness 18 types, and wholesome consciousness 4 types. Then altogether 54. That means sensual sphere consciousness has been divided into 54 types. Then it includes good, bad and results. That means that bad actions, actually here in other discourses we find the wholesome actions and unwholesome actions and their results, but in a conventional form. But here in Abhidhamma, in the first in these divisions, actually the psychological basis is explained. When we do good things and bad things, how the mind works. That's what psychological basis of wholesome and unwholesome deeds are explained under wholesome consciousness and unwholesome consciousness. And also under the resultant consciousness, result means nothing else external to the person, but actually the result means actually kamma means chetanaham bhikkave kammang vadami. Volition is itself the action. Therefore, the wholesome action or unwholesome action means a particular mentality. Then as a result, there arises another mentality. That is why under the resultant consciousness is explained. That is why, but you know, here what is meant is nothing else, morality. Because these are the consciousness types related to the unwholesome action, these are the consciousness types related to the wholesome actions, and these are the consciousness types which arise as a result of good and bad deeds. Therefore, this refers to the Sila or morality. And Rupavachara, Arupavachara, actually we have 5 trances Rupavachara and 4 trances Arupavachara. In both, what we are doing is, we are trying to oppress the unwholesome mental aspects or thoughts, and to calm down or concentrate or take into one point the mentality. That means samadhi or concentration. Therefore, we can understand it definitely as concentration. And in the final type, that means supramundane consciousness, we are following the Sotapatti, stream winning, once returning, non-returning and Arahant levels. We are destroying the defilements, you know, Sakkaya, Ditti, Vicikicca, Silabbata, Paramasa, self-view and doubt, and also attachment to rites and ceremonies, and also greed, hatred and delusion, etc. Then it means actually eradication of the defilements. That means in order to eradicate these defilements, we have to understand the reality of the world. That means impermanence, suffering and soulless. Then, and also 5 aggregates, 18 elements, 4 great elements, etc. That means critical analysis of the world. Then we get the reality of the world. Then once we understand the reality of the world, we detach from it. Then it means actually insight or wisdom. Therefore, I think we can definitely come into the conclusion that the analysis of consciousness in Abhidhamma is nothing else but the psychological explanation of the 3 methods of training: morality, concentration and wisdom. I think we can further discuss the other aspects in the future lessons. Thank you very much.